You're listening to the Jiu Jitsu Lou podcast with me, Lou Temlett. I'm guessing you're having a good day because either you've been on the mats, are considering getting on the mats, or maybe taking your friend to train. When you want to overcome life's challenges and injuries, start training Jiu Jitsu. I'd like to welcome Giada Pedretti to my podcast. Hi, Giada. How are you?
Hello, everybody. I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me. There is a connection with the last episode. You train at Gracie Barra, Nottingham with Barbara on the last episode. So if you haven't listened to that one, go back and listen to it after this one. Giada, I'd love to talk to you about the top of the show, overcoming life's challenges and injuries, which seems contradictory. But do share me your ranking and how long you've been training Jiu-Jitsu.
So I'm a purple belt. I got it in August, and I've been training Jiu-Jitsu for overall 6 years, about 6 years. But I started in 2015, then I stopped in 2019, and then I restarted in 2022. So.
Okay, well, we can find out what happened in that gap. But what led you to start training Jiu-Jitsu in the first place?
Yeah, so, I'm from Italy, so I've been living in Italy since I was 19. And since when I was really young, my mum wanted to get me into martial arts. So she brought me and my little sister to a local gym there, and we liked Japanese Jiu Jitsu. There was no Brazilian Jiu Jitsu at the time, so we chose Japanese Jiu Jitsu, and we stuck to it for 5 years. My little sister was really good at it. I was not really good at it, and I liked it, but there was something missing. So I was doing it because when you're a kid, you're just kind of going with the flow a bit.
Yeah.
But one of my friends started Brazilian Jiu Jitsu because they started a course of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu in the same gym in 2015, about when I started. And one of my friends joined, and she said it was real fun. So I said, well, I might as well give it a go with her. And then I had that my friend at the time was a brown belt in Japanese Jiu Jitsu. So she was not sure whether to quit that and go to Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and not get her black belt in Japanese Jiu Jitsu. And I was only a blue belt in Japanese Jiu Jitsu. So for me, I was I'm 100% convinced I love Brazilian Jiu Jitsu.
Yeah, so you kind of had more flexibility potentially to change your choice.
More, yeah. In the end, she came as well. She kind of stopped doing Japanese Jiu Jitsu and she did Brazilian Jiu Jitsu with me. So that's how I got into it, basically.
Fabulous. Okay, so you said your mum took you and your sister and she wanted to get you into martial arts. Do you know why she wanted to get you into martial arts?
Yes. So, my mum is a black belt in kickboxing. She used to do Japanese Jiu-Jitsu as well, and then she got a shoulder issue, so she couldn't do it anymore. But she was really big into learning, into telling us to learn how to defend ourselves. So she was saying, for example, if somebody bullies you in school or if you have issues, at least you know how to defend yourself. Yeah. So I think it was a fair enough reason to start.
I love that. I'm quite, I'm impressed that you're a purple belt. I'm being a white belt, and then you say, "Oh yeah, my mum's a black belt kickboxer." I was like, "Okay."
I'm scared of my mum too. So,
but where I kind of want to delve back. What was, because there aren't quite as many women in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. So, and your mum must have been training kickboxing and Japanese Jiu Jitsu for some time. So, where does the desire and the interest come from for her?
Yeah. So I think like she has a really, I think her character and personality, she's really like passionate, and she has always loved like martial arts in general. I tried to convince her to do Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, but she does not like the sport much. She prefers
Okay.
like sort of striking, a bit more like impact stuff,
Yeah.
which I don't really like. So it's like good balance between us. Um, so yeah, and I mean definitely there is way more girls doing kickboxing and Japanese jiu-jitsu for now, though. I think
Yes.
because like Brazilian jiu-jitsu is not as popular now, but
Yes.
hopefully it will.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's certainly, I'm seeing more and more girls and women at competitions and on the mats. And, our aim is to encourage more because
Exactly.
we want competitors, and we want to build our, community of like-minded individuals that are in the mix, and maybe not so like-minded, because I think we're all very different. And that's what, you know, we're all very equal when we're on the mats, and we don't know lives outside of that. So, you could
Exactly.
be rolling or training with anybody, and you'd never know,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
quite
So,
interesting.
yeah, I think actually one of the good things of jiu-jitsu that I would recommend when like recommending people to start the sport is that you just develop like this unique bonding with people, with that your teammates, that you would
Yeah,
probably never thought to develop because of the diversity, but there is something that connects you, which is like jiu-jitsu. So it's amazing. Yeah.
yes. Yes, I was chatting with someone on Instagram last night, and they know someone else that I know, and it becomes such a small world when you're reaching out and connecting with people, which is just wonderful. It's a nice space for us to be in. So I'm really grateful that you're here and we're having this conversation, and you've got some martial arts heritage in your background. And I hope to also, as a parent, be supporting my children through the ranks. Black belt kickboxer, I am not, but maybe no. Kickboxing is not my thing. Not my thing. Anyway,
Not
um,
mine either.
Jada, we talked about you having some time off Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Tell me about why that was, because we also kind of mentioned injuries. So give me the
Yeah.
gory details.
Yes. So I'm just going to take a little step back, saying that when I started jiu-jitsu, I was 15, and I was training just for fun when I started Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So maybe like 3-4 times a week, and I was competing a little bit, but nothing too serious. But then when I finished high school in Italy, I decided to move to the UK, and especially to Nottingham because I had been to visit before, and because I wanted to go to university, but also like become really good at Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, basically like winning some really high rank competitions, and so that's why like I wanted to like basically make my make jiu-jitsu my career basically. However, like maybe 3 months into me moving to the UK, like to Nottingham, I was training a lot, like overtraining, actually, not giving my body like time to rest, because I thought that was what I should do to like become a champion, like super good. But then I got an injury in my knee, actually, which was not in the joint. It was something weird that like I went to so many like healthcare professionals, nobody like could properly figure it out. And I went to Italy as well to get like MRI scans and ultrasounds,
Yeah.
and everybody was just telling me something different. So at some point I got a bit discouraged,
Yeah.
and I was just like, maybe I should really take some time off to like kind of reflect back on like my mental health, and how I should deal with injuries in general, but like how I should also like think about my future, because at that point I,
Yes.
I just thought like, well, I want to make my career of jiu-jitsu, but then not being able to train for so long, I was just questioning, like, how can I like make a career of that if I just have that much time off due to injuries?
Yes.
So yeah, it was a bit of like self debate, and then COVID happened like in that injury moment. So I was still doing uni and everything. I also considered dropping out of uni to just do jiu-jitsu, and I'm so thankful I did not do that. So yeah, and I think this injury also came at the right moment to like not make me drop out of uni, because if I was not injured, I think I probably dropped out. So yeah, so I kept.
That's amazing. Studying, I've been a university student myself, so I know, you can create a lot of time to train, which is wonderful. You can also create a lot of time to study. But what's more fun, jiu-jitsu or studying?
Yeah.
And I'm really pleased that you kind of follow through and did both. What was the draw with Nottingham? I live in the south of England. What was the kind of draw from a high ranking competitions? What did you know about Nottingham that I don't know about Nottingham?
So well, I moved to Nottingham actually so for the first time in 2017 for like a school exchange, and I did not know that there was such a good school, like with Victor Estima and his Braulio Estima's brother, and there is a lot of people in Gracie Barra Nottingham that won like high level competitions, but I did not know that basically when I moved originally. So I moved here just to like improve my English, basically to study at a college for some months, and then I went back to Italy. But yeah, so I decided to come back because of like the school being so good, and I trained a little bit in my time here, and I just thought it's where I want to be.
Yeah, good. Okay, that might be it's certainly on my, travel list. But who knows?
Yeah. It would be lovely to have you. So
thank you. So continue with your break from jiu-jitsu and your knee injury.
So basically during that time, during COVID, I moved back to Italy for like a few months. I don't know if this is an interesting life story. I hope it is, because it's a bit long. So
it's fine. Please share.
So I went to Italy for like until like September the year after, when I started my second year of uni. And when I came back, I decided to like not do jiu-jitsu that year at least, because I wanted to take some time to reflect on like my life, and I wanted to take some time to build a community also outside jiu-jitsu, which I'm really grateful I did. I met some great friends. I had like really lovely housemates. And so, and I started different sports. I went to like the university taster sessions. I did some like gymnastics. I went to do some handball, volleyball, football, all sorts. I just tried like anything I could.
Good. I think university is the place to try. On a previous episode, we were discussing Sam from Warrior Grips, the opportunity at university just to try whatever and everything, because actually it's probably more cost effective to engage in those sports or activities at that time and give them a go. For kind of setting your direction in life. I ran a dance society and did musical theatre, but I'm not going to be tap dancing on this show, and I'm not going to be tapping out either. Sorry, Giada, please carry on.
Yeah, I agree, to be honest. Like university, I'm glad that I explored all these different sports, and like I explored what is life outside jiu-jitsu, because I think it's really important, especially like when injuries happen, to like not have jiu-jitsu as your everything, as your whole world. You need to have like maybe something else that is like safe, secure, that you can refer back to. and go into like a bit more of a like safe space, you know. So
I do agree, having that balance and all of the different activities, we can get very focused on one specific thing, ideally
exactly.
jiu-jitsu, but actually what if in your circumstance that has to, you have to stop it for a period of time, and building the rest of your community around you as a support network is really important as well.
Yeah, so then the year after that, I went to London for a placement. I went to work basically as a researcher in Imperial College for some time. So, and that time I was also like doing different sports, and I took that time to like explore a bit more what my career in neuroscience would be like. I studied neuroscience at the university. So basically I kind of explored all other life paths, but other than jiu-jitsu. And then like the year after that, I moved back to Nottingham and I went again into this like life sort of what am I going to do in the future zone. Because as much as I like neuroscience, I couldn't see myself much as like being a scientist in the future. And so I decided to give it a go again to try jiu-jitsu. And I did tell myself to not go crazy. So I was like, okay, I'm going to start like twice a week, then maybe 3 times a week. And then now I'm just training like so much. But I have learned my lesson. So I am taking my time when I have injuries or like when I'm feeling like my body is telling me to stop. I'm taking that time off, basically. So
good. I'm very pleased to hear that. This is the Jiu-Jitsu Lou podcast with me, Lou Temlett, coming to you from the UK. Go and check out the latest video clips over on Instagram at jiu.jitsu.lu. And as you're listening or watching on your favourite podcast platform, I'd really appreciate you dropping the show a review or a rating. Today, I'm having a conversation with Giada Pedretti. Giada, so we've heard about your story and you're now listening to your body. You've explored a number of kind of life sports activity options, and you're now training consistently in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. So what flows on from the kind of time out and now the consistency?
So basically, I have figured out that I want to make my career jiu-jitsu, basically. So yeah, I think like despite having all these like issues before and all these challenges, I found out that like this is what I want really, like this is what my life goal is. And when like I think life is going to be difficult anyways, but if you have something that you really want to achieve, you'll be able to like kind of overcome the struggles because you have that life goal and you do everything to reach that. So
do you have when you're saying that, I'm feeling like you might have a vision or an actual goal in mind of achieving a certain medal or a certain ranking? Do you focus on what that looks like, or are you more focusing on the journey to get to a point?
I am definitely thinking about getting some like. So I'm going to the World Championship at the end of May. I would love to win that, but I also went to the European Championship in January. The IBJJF one, which did not go as planned. But I think like, so before also I used to get very discouraged from losing competition. I still do. Like the day I have like 24-hour morning period when I'm like really sad. But then it's just like, you just learn so much from it. Like, and losing, you learn a lot more than winning actually. And it's just like the path to get better is just like lifelong anyways. So
Yes.
it's good that you can like go out there, test yourself, and then see where those like weaknesses are or where you have to
Yeah.
improve, and then act upon it. So yeah, so I would like overall to become a black belt world champion, but on the way there is some other goals like winning some major competitions,
Yeah.
maybe like IBJJF, AJP as well on the way. So
Fantastic. I love the fact that Brazilian Jiu Jitsu allows you to continue learning. I've obviously started Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, I was going to say late in my career. No, it's at the beginning of my career, at the middle of my life in my 40s. And, it really is improving my kind of mental stability to be able to identify not weaknesses, but just where I'm not quite achieving a move quite as tight as I might, and just learning from all of those things. But it echoes back into my life in other areas that allows my mindset and kind of philosophy on life to learn from that in life things, or sorting out the washing machine or whatever it happens to be. It just allows more of a depth to life than just Brazilian Jiu Jitsu as a martial art.
exactly. So actually, one of the things that helped me, that Jiu-Jitsu helped me with was like when I was doing presentations of like my thesis or like presentations now as I'm working as a research assistant at a university still. And I'm thinking like, okay, one day I will go to compete at the World Championship. And just thinking that makes me like cancel out all the fear I have of presenting and of like showing myself in front of people. So it does help a lot.
Fantastic. So, yeah. I love that. I've just taken part in a world record attempt. So I am a world record holder for vision boarding. I joined 500 other people. So over on my life Instagram account, which some of you may find, I've got my world record, Guinness World Record certificate. But I visioned and I drew pictures of me competing or, holding a gold medal. I'm still a way away from that, and, traveling and doing all sorts of other things. But, I think manifesting and visioning these goals, whilst we want to live in the moment with jiu-jitsu, having those kind of longer term goals or life goals, when you're dealing with the stress of life, like you're saying, presenting a thesis, you can almost come out of yourself to envisage why you're doing the small stressy thing that you're doing right now. Exactly. Because actually at the end of the day, we're working towards something bigger in life than just, getting into mount and choking someone, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So
tell me about your most recent competition experience. I know it didn't go quite so well, but talk me through your experience.
Yeah. So last time I competed was at the London IBJJF, the London Open, 25th of February. So I had a lot of people in my, like 7 maybe we were in my division, like, wow, for like
that's good.
And there were a lot of good names as well. And I was super excited to fight with these people. And I actually fought against a friend of a friend from Jordan. So I was kind of seeing what that, I kind of like wanted to see how that experience was, because fighting against somebody that I never experienced that much.
Okay.
I fought, just open brackets, once against Barbara in the continent, but that was like, it was just like a thing. But this fighting against this girl in this like London Open I just want to see how that was. And it's actually great to fight with people that you like respect, and they respect you as well. Like the fight is fair, and you just like, you don't want to hurt the other person. You just like try to give your best and everything.
Yeah.
So I really appreciated that. I lost by 2 points actually. So the girl got me into sweep, into like 50-50, which is an odd position and very strange as well. So, but she got me into that sweep, and then I tried to go for some submissions from there, but I couldn't quite get them. She was really good at defending, and so basically then I got a few advantages, but I never managed to score back. So I have a lot of things to work on, and I was quite disappointed with my fight, but then looking back at it, I thought it wasn't so bad. I just had like a few things to improve. So
yeah, that's good. I respect your honesty and sharing. You know, for anyone that's a white belt or maybe a blue belt, you know, hearing from honestly from a purple belt or anyone else in the kind of competition arena, then you know, we've all got things to learn, but actually the learning journey continues forever. And actually, you know, it's really good. I feel like my fear of, you know, not achieving submissions in a competition slightly, you know, relieved a bit, you know, when other people do, because you kind of get in your own head in one particular situation, and it causes you a lot of stress. Do you have any recommendations for anyone at any rank with their mindset to competing and just training jiu-jitsu in general?
Yes. So actually, for anybody that competes, I want to say this sentence that somebody said to me at the Europeans actually, and it really helped me a lot to kind of try and keep like stay present and focus on my fight. And he told me, remember what you want. So I was like, okay, I am envisioning myself with that medal. It is mine. I want that. I'm going for that. So that really helped me to stay present and to focus and to not give up, because there is a lot of moments in the fight where it's just so like, it's just, wow, like you're fighting so hard. You're like, your cardio is like almost like you're dead, basically, breath-wise. You don't know what to do technique-wise. You are stuck. But the voice in your head says, remember what you want. Keep going. You will not regret this. So
I love that. Love that. Keep going. Remember what you want.
Yes.
Love it.
And I think in training as well, like always try to work around areas that you need to improve. Like challenge yourself with like new things as well. So like explore new stuff, and don't just try to like stick to your A game. I would say try and like expand your game and improve the things that you think need improving.
Good. I've made a mental note. Actually, this morning I was practicing some arm bars. I've always been really nervous about arm bars. I've been practicing the chokes for a while. And apart from being armbarred by blue belts or blue bars, I'm starting to be able to pull them off myself now. So I'm feeling a lot more confident with kind of side control and then S mount and things. So agree, work on the things that you know, you've been missing from your game.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to cheer because it's like I remembered S-Man and I remembered armbar. I still feel like a white belt, but this is good. I was not in this position 18 months ago, so I'm very grateful to you know, be here. Who'd have thought? You know, anyway.
Yeah, no, I think it's good to like cheer your achievements as well. You have to.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. So if any of the listeners or people watching on YouTube have some achievements in their Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, just take a moment and cheer for yourselves. Yay!
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, good. So how can people overcome injuries?
So I think I'm still trying to learn that myself, but I think the biggest thing is to listen to your body and to like not. So, cause like what was like the biggest thing for me was I saw a lot of messages on social media, especially telling like people to just like keep pushing, keep going, like you need to like work really hard and like suffer through this and that, whatever, to like reach whatever you want. And the reality is that you need to find the right balance between that and like your life in general, because there is things that you can push through and things that you can't, and that balance is really hard to find. But I think like being able to listen to your body and understanding when you need to take a break is very important to not make the injury chronic and not make it worse than it is, and like accelerating the recovery path as well, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Absolutely. I love that. I was watching a post on Instagram, as we all hang out on Instagram. Jiu Jitsu woman said you don't need to train if you're ill. As in, do not train if you're ill. Stay off the mats, look after yourself, come back when you're ready. You probably saw that as well then, Giada.
Yeah, I did see that, yeah.
Fantastic. Any last advice for anyone on their jiu-jitsu journey?
I would say like there is going to be times, and there are times where you feel like you don't want to train maybe, or your jiu-jitsu is not improving, or you just feel like you don't have any motivation to keep going. But I think that it's in those times where if you keep going, you will really see a change in yourself as a person as well. Like you'll be able to become a more, like you persevere through your goals and improve your jiu-jitsu as well. Because a lot of times I feel like, oh, I'm stuck here. I've not been improving for a while, and then that switch comes and I improve a lot in like a short period of time. So I think but that wouldn't happen if I stopped, like, or like if I was not trying to improve because I got discouraged because I was not improving, you know. So I think always try, and you're going to fail probably, but that's how you learn as well. So
absolutely. Giada, thank you so much for all of your wisdom and tips and sharing and your honesty. And I really do appreciate your time and being here. And of course, wish you every success in the upcoming Worlds and various other competitions that are on the horizon in the near and far future. Do come back and be a guest again on the show. And I look forward to connecting with you and following up later.
Yeah, lovely to be here. Thank you for having me, and see you very soon.
You're very welcome. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for telling your friends about this show. And as soon as the episode ends, I'd love you to rate and review the show. Thank you again for listening. Catch you on the next episode of the Jiu Jitsu Lou podcast.